and welcome back to another episode of Catch That, where we honestly break down, analyze, and talk about R&B, the artists, the eras, the albums. I am Naturally Elise, and that is my bro.
JR.
And we are the R&B representatives. And today, we are welcoming a special guest, another fellow soldier in this music army, R&B music army.
All right.
It is B.Cox. What's up?
As I say on my podcast, greetings and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am glad to be here. Thank y'all so much for having me. It's great to be here with y'all, man. I've been a fan of you guys for some time now, and you guys do what I do. And so I love to talk music with people who love to talk music. Here we are, and I'm ready to get into it. So thank y'all again for having me.
When they see that, they're going to see that I was mouthing your words. I'm a fan of yours. That's why.
Hey, I love it. I love it. If you like it, I love it.
Yes.
Aw, that was cute. So, JR, how about you tell the folks what we're going to be talking about today and a little bit about why?
Okay, so today we will be discussing Maxwell's, oh God, Urban Hang Suite. I'm like so hyped to talk about this with B because, again, as y'all can see, I'm a fan of his show as well. And I got to give him some love because he gave us so much love with that Adriana Evans episode.
Absolutely,
like,
man.
Oh my God. Like when we told Dart about it, Dart went crazy over it too.
Yeah.
Like he was like, oh, really? People actually like rock with what I say. I was like, yeah. Like they rock with you, dog. Like,
yeah. Now that episode was incredible, man. And being a person who went out and got that album in 1997 when it came out and has been rocking with it for 25 years. Yeah. And knowing other people that recognize his genius as well was like finding a kindred spirit way across the interweb, miles apart, and being able to connect with them. So that was awesome. So just like you may be a fan of mine, y'all a fan of mine, I'm definitely fans of yours, of that episode and all the other episodes y'all do, because y'all dig into the music. Y'all don't just listen to it. You dig into it. You know, not just skimming through it like Sean Carter said. You listen to it and then you dig into it. So definitely props, man. I'm glad to be here to talk about especially this album. Especially this album.
Yes. So when you said, because this is funny. So when we've been trying to get you on the show for a minute, right? So of course, Elise always tells me like, yo, ask him to come on the show. So finally, after a couple of weeks, I was like, all right, let me ask him. Then when you told me Elise already hit me already, I was like, oh, so she don't want to wait for me no more. Oh, okay, fine. I'm like, fine, because I be nervous to ask people. And she be like, wow, like, why are you nervous? Like, they going to tell you yes or no. And I was just like, nah. So then to have you pick this album, Urban Hang Suite, I'm ready to get into this. So first, when did you really get into Maxwell? How did you get introduced to him first?
So this is back in 96. We go back to 1996. I'm 14 years old and I'm in middle school. At this point, I'm getting ready to end 8th grade and going to go into high school later on that year. Those of y'all who have listened to the show, if not, I grew up in a household, had 3 older sisters. I grew up in a household with my mother and my father, and we grew up in a household that loved music. And when you grow up around 3 older sisters in the 90s, regardless of the fact that I was a big hip hop head, I had my fair amount of exposure to R&B music, whether it was voluntarily or involuntarily. Sometimes it was involuntarily, and sometimes some of the stuff I didn't like, but a lot of the stuff I did like. That's how I got introduced to Maxwell, was by my sister. My sister Denise was listening to Maxwell. A lot of times I used to ride with her when I used to get my haircut, and I would get my haircut off Kenilworth Avenue in Prince George's County. We would ride and we would listen to music, and she was playing Maxwell, and she loved Maxwell. And to me, I'm listening to it and I'm just like, okay. Now I'm listening to R&B music. At this time, I'm picking up stuff like, D'Angelo just came out with Brown Sugar the year before that. I've, of course, heavily into SWV, Jodeci, Boys to Men. We're coming off this era with groups like Troop and High Five and Tevin Campbell. the sound of R&B starting to like it more towards my taste because it's sounding more like hip hop. You know, the marriage of what you got from hip hop and R&B was starting to start this consummation, if you will. But I'm listening to this and it intrigues me because what I'm listening to isn't what I'm listening to normally on the radio, what's coming out of the tape deck, what's coming out of the CD player of all these contemporaries. And it sounds like something that honestly, stuff my dad would listen to. My dad was a huge jazz fan. I mean, Caribbean music was big in my household, but outside of Caribbean music, when they came here, he was a very, very big jazz fan, from the classics all the way up to contemporary jazz in the 90s. So I'm hearing that same type of sound, that live instrumentation. And then that voice, it's just like, oh, okay. When you listen to people, you hear people sing, you hear a couple of things. And you know the ones who sort of have it, and those that have the gift. And to me, I felt like I heard someone that potentially had the gift. And while it wasn't something that necessarily, you will put on with the homies if you're chilling with them, or something you listen to in the Walkman, it was something that was an easy listen. It really was really easy on the ears at first listen. So then that happens. This album comes out a couple of years later. Embryo comes out, and I'm in high school at this point in time. So I start to go back and say, you know what? Let me go to my sister's room and grab this CD again and listen to Urban Hang Suite one more time. So then I listen to it. And at this point, I'm heavily into music. I'm starting to dabble into music myself and produce music myself. But I'm like, let me grab this and let me dub this CD real quick. Let me burn this and take a copy for myself. So then I'm accumulating this CD book. And by the way, I just talked about the infamous CD book that everybody had, the binder, the one you would zip up and unzip, and page after page after page of so many CDs. There you go. There it is. There it is on cue. There it is. And you either have that one or you have the big one with the 4 CDs on each page in the back. So I'm accumulating my CDs and I'm making a, section. I got this for hip hop, got this for R&B. So I know that if the homies come over, this is what I'm playing. If I happen to be around someone in the house, even though my mother's home, and I bring a lady over, I'm going to put some R&B on. And this was when I was like, you know what? I did have this for the collection. And after listening to it after a couple of years, I'm like, man, this joint is banging. Like, this dude really, now I see why women sweat this guy so much. Now I see why I'm hearing this on where I'm from, the hip hop stations 95.5 and 93.9.
Yeah.
While I'm also hearing it now on 102.3 and 96.3 for the adult stations.
Mm-hmm.
And why now not only are people my sister's age liking it, but then my parents' age are liking this too. So Maxwell's already building us this career. And as time goes on, these albums come out, now comes out. He disappears for a few years, doesn't record an album, resurfaces again in 2009. And at this point, I'm into him and I'm a fan. Like, been to concerts, been to shows, but it always came back to Urban Hang Suite, because that's where it all began. Because without any of that, there isn't any Embryo. There's no Now. There's no, like, I would even say the one concert that I went to a couple of years ago, there's no him being at the Kennedy Center with the NSO and that being sold out for 4 days straight with an amazing performance, one of the best I've ever been to before in my life. So without any of that, you don't get any of that. With the Urban Hang Suite, you don't get any of that. So I got into Maxwell because he gradually grew on me. And as I grew in music, I became a bigger fan of his. And then Urban Hang Suite always became the, you know what, this is my go-to album when it comes to Maxwell, no matter what. No shade on the other ones, because I love the other albums too. But Urban Hang Suite is the go-to when it comes to Maxwell for me.
I would say for me, so I'm a little bit older than you, P. And so when this came out, I was a senior in high school.
Okay.
And it was the end of the year, so honestly, it was more my freshman year of college.
Okay.
Man, like it hit me so hard from he had me at hello, because I think many people erroneously assume that Ascension was the first single, but it was Till the Cops Come Knocking.
That's right.
And that is what got me on Maxwell, because of the beloved video show Midnight Love.
Midnight. Oh, you taking it back. Yes, I love it. Midnight Love. Absolutely.
They played Till the Cops Come Knocking and whenever. I don't ever remember from the point those songs came out of them not being on a rotation of Midnight Love until the end of the show. One of those songs was in it. It just was.
Wow.
And that's what got me. So before Ascension hit, I had been seeing this video. I remember, telling my girls, like, y'all seen this video? It's some dude, Maxwell, and he all crawling in the floor and carrying on and things. And I was like, he can sing and he's beautiful. And, and his videos always have a look like the treatment of them make them look old.
Yeah.
So that was different because that's when stuff was getting glossy. So you had muted, old school, like real artistic looking videos. It stuck out because our other R&B videos, they in a luxurious place on the beach and, got on their finest outfit and it's just very shiny, you know. But you have this that looked like it was like on a handheld camera, so it stood out. Yeah, that was I was on Maxwell from day one.
Yeah.
whatever date they put that up on Midnight Love, that was
when you were on it. I hear that.
Yeah, because Maxwell, I mean, as you can probably see, because I got all the music, and is one of my favorite artists, just period. Yeah.
Anyway. Well, I have to come in and give mine because y'all did all the happy stuff. So I got to tell how mine was. So I'm going to bring it down a little bit. I didn't get into him until Don't Ever Wonder. Like, that's when I got into him because I didn't hear Till the Cops Come Knocking. And like you said, Elise, everybody thought that, you know what I'm saying? They didn't even think about Till the Cops Come Knocking as the first single. Nobody ever does. So when I heard it, to be honest with you, when I first heard when he comes in, the radio edit, when he comes in, it gave me Eddie Kendricks. And I'm a fan of Eddie Kendricks and his falsetto. Yes. So it caught me off the break. And I would have thought it would have caught my mom, but obviously it didn't. Because I'm sitting there and I'm like, ooh, and he's singing, and I'm like, wait a minute, his falsetto might be a little better than Eddie's. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then also it's giving me that depth, that thickness that I like from Curtis Mayfield. It had a thickness to it. And I don't think a lot of people give Curtis a lot of credit for his thickness in his music since the Impressions. And everybody kind of like gets over that. They don't give him the credit for this neo soul, a word that I don't like at all because there's no new soul to me. But it gave me that. And then, of course, Don't Ever Wonder gave me I Want to Be Where You Are by Marvin Gaye off the I Want You album. So it was so many of my favorites in this. So I'm like, yo, this joint is dope. And I look at my mom and she like, you like this? And I'm looking at her like, this joint is dope. Like, it got all of our favorites in here, thinking the vibe of that. And she like, no, this is not, it's not doing anything for me. Wow. So, of course, I'm only 10. So I'm not able to buy the music. You know what I'm saying? But I'm already got this music stuff in my head and I'm loving from who they playing and this new school that's coming in. I'm there. So I was like, how the hell am I going to get this album? I need it. Like, I want this. I couldn't beg her to get it because she didn't want it because she didn't like it. So actually, I ended up getting the MTV Unplugged first. I got that first because I stole my cousin. We went to her house, yes. And you know how everybody used to have their little CDs stacked. Yes. You know what I'm saying?
The tower, yes.
And I'm looking, this is now, y'all, this is the beginning of 97, if I'm not mistaken, when he came out with this. And I'm looking and I don't see Urban Hang Suite because that's what I want. So I just see MTV Unplugged. I said, all right, well, I'll grab that. And I had that in my little portable CD player, my headphones on, and I would walk to school with the joint. And that's how I got it. And I didn't get until Urban Hang Suite until years later because I was so into MTV Unplugged. And mind you, this is 97. And you just did an episode be about 97 albums for real. Like, so there was so many albums in 97. It was like, after a while, I wasn't thinking about Urban Hang Suite. I was like, all right, I'm good with this. But baby, when I finally went back, I said, well, goddamn. And I was like, Ma. So when I played it for her, and literally for an hour, she was just like, no. And I'm like, Ma, this is what?
And you know what? And it's the y'all were like into it and then stepped away. I have never stepped away from this record. I've never been like going through a period where I don't really be studying it. No, it's always
that's what I'm saying. Like you can't once you get into it, it's like you can't help it no more. Like it's
I just met Maxwell right now because I'm like I'm feeling so very fangirly today. I've never liked this.
a little bit.
Once it grabs you,
I did meet him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. See, and you know it was funny because Donnie Simpson, man, he did 95.5 for years, and they were talking about how they were like, man, Eric Benet was actually coming in for an interview, and they said, man, you could tell when the guys that the ladies like come in because they all come into the studio, and you see by the way that they dressed, they're like, oh, okay, a looker must be coming in today. Well, when Maxwell came in to go do Donnie's show a couple of months later, he was like, boy, I thought they was bad when Eric came in. He was like, boy, and then they heard Maxwell was coming in. They was like, whoo, they almost naked. Almost naked. He was like, and that's the barometer. You go from Eric to Maxwell, and how the ladies responded to both of them was one thing, but particularly the way they responded to him. And I would say that his looks have a lot to do with it. But I think when you talk about Maxwell and the allure that particularly that ladies have for him is because of what the music does for them. You know, when you talk about this album in particular, I mean, and it's all of Maxwell's albums are like this. He made this album for the ladies. I mean, this isn't made for men or to be able to capture men's sensibilities towards women. He made this for women, for the ladies.
Shoes. He got heels on the damn thing. It's for them.
The shoes, baby, take your shoes off and feel comfortable. You know, right. Come on in on the couch and have a seat. I'll pour us a glass of wine.
You know? and not only is it a album for the ladies, it is a concept album for the ladies.
Yeah.
So it ain't just ooh, baby, come in. No, it is telling a story. It's not simple.
It's methodical, is what it is. It's in the age of let me holler, let me whisper something in your ear. Hello, how are you? Let's sit down and have a conversation. My name's Maxwell. Your name is, you know, it's like literally this album is it's theatrical. It's like cinema. It's the story of a meeting between a man and a woman, and the sensibilities between the two of them, the intrigue growing as the night and the conversation goes on. You know, they meet, they talk, they become intrigued with each other, they enjoy each other's company, they have fun with each other throughout the night, maybe dance a couple of times. Then it's like, well, let's get out of here and let's go talk somewhere a little bit more quiet. You talk, you consummate, and then afterwards, it's not a let me get up and roll. It's let's sit and talk a little bit more. You depart, you long for each other, you come back together, and then commitment is what happens at the end of it. It's like a movie. It's like a movie. I mean, in that matter, the concept is so brilliant because what it is that you take this whole thing and this issue of romance, and it's romance, it's courtship, it's friendship, it's fellowship, all of those things wrapped up into one. I mean, brilliantly done. Considering that the boy was only 23 years old when this album came out, which means he was recording it when he was 21 and 22. I mean, who does? I mean, at that age, what did you know anything about anything? It's like this album you would have thought was written by somebody who was in their 30s or 40s. And it's so mature and so sensible that you're like, oh no, somebody in their 20s couldn't have written something like this. No way. Yeah. But it was. And that's what makes it special. Because
it shows that a lot of our artists back then, they were just so brilliant with theirs. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just like you said, how do you write an album? And mind you, this album was actually done before D'Angelo's.
Yeah.
And he said he wanted to give D'Angelo love because he took a back seat and was like, you take it. And made it a little easier for me to come behind you. You know what I'm saying? Because again, like me and Elise was talking about earlier, we're not going to see it act like D'Angelo album just hit. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, July 3rd, 1995, it just hit. No, that thing was a sleepy hit, to be honest, because if you look at a lot of the award shows, him and Maxwell was nominated in the same category at the same time. Like a lot of the American Music Award and Soul Train and all that because Billboard, of when D'Angelo's hit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And another thing, none of the singles were number one.
Nope.
The Ascension went to number 8.
And then it's like the albums, they were so into, you know, now everybody into so many number ones, and this album didn't peak in number one at all on any chart. We talking about R&B or pop. None of that. And it's still considered a classic today. Like, we can talk about it now. You know what I mean? Like, that's why the number ones can come and go, but classics and timeless stuff stay. You know what I mean? So
it does. It speaks to the quality of the work that you do. When he did this concert at the Kennedy Center and did it with the NSO, like, first of all, let's talk about when you do a live show with an orchestra. Not everybody can do that. We've seen a few people be able to do it, but it's a very classy, very elegant sort of feel that you get with it. Even when you saw Nas, which he did one with the NSO at Kennedy Center for the 20th anniversary of Illmatic, came out with the white, white jacket with the black, very classy, very clean. There's not a lot of artists can pull that off. And I'm telling you that Maxwell came out and pulled off this show, doing many hits from Urban Hanks Week, but of course, a lot from Embria and From Now. And of course, songs like Fortunate, which everybody knew. But you go into Kennedy Center, they take your phone, they put it in a pouch, they lock it up. You can't get it unlocked until you leave. They don't want anyone recording shows at the Kennedy Center. But it was one of the most enjoyable experiences, one, because people's phones weren't out, but then two, because of Maxwell and the environment. When I'm telling you, when the orchestra struck up to play Ascension, the first verse, he ain't even sing. We was singing that bad boy. Everybody. And every word, too. It wasn't like, people are singing, and you hear some crowds, you hear a little. No. Everybody knew every word of that. I mean, all he had to say was it. And then he stopped after that, because then everybody else sung the rest of the words. When you can captivate an audience like that, it speaks to the staying power of your music and the impact that it has. Only sold however many million albums. Didn't have that many, on the charts or everything else like that. But the impact of the music, though, it's what people remember. It's the feeling that people get from it. That's why Maxwell is so big. That's why this album, 20-something years later, you're looking at it, and people like us are sitting right now having this conversation. And it's almost like it was yesterday. Like this just came out yesterday. I mean, I'm listening to it again this week, and I'm like thinking, like, I don't think I'll ever get tired of listening to this.
Never at all. Okay. All right. Let's get into these songs. Okay. So I love how you said that it felt like it was theatrical, like this album, right? I always feel like there's two welcomes for real. You know what I mean? Like the urban theme, right? I think he's introducing the band. Like if we was at a play, he's introducing the band, and it's just them, no singing, no nothing. Come on and do what y'all gonna do. Let's let whoever get the feeling of this, what it's gonna feel like. This is what the vibe is gonna be.
But what when a movie comes on and the title comes on, and then it's like produced by blah 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 blah, and then it's kind of like a little opening scene or a little song or montage. That's what it is. It's even music that's like it's music that sounds like that at the beginning of movies.
Yep.
Like a love movie.
Yep.
Yeah. So yes.
You're
right.
I always felt that. I was just like, he got 2 intros, yo. Like, and it's dope as hell. And then he goes into welcome. Now we're getting introduced to Maxwell.
Yes.
Welcome. Like, come on, God.
Yes. It's sort of like you get out of urban theme, and then you get into welcome, and it's like the band's already warmed up now. Now he done walked on the stage and he ready to do his thing.
That's what it is,
you know. And like, all right, fellas, y'all warmed up. Okay, let's settle into this now. You know, when you get into that pocket, and at this point, you're like, if you're in the audience, you know you're about to experience something incredible. Welcome helps to set the tune into pretty much what we get into the next few tracks, because then things start to pick up. It's like we talk about, like, you know, the theme being set for the album, and how this is like this courtship between him and this woman, how it's making it to this, like, you know, this is the introduction. We're talking about, you know, hey, you and I talking, getting to know each other, and then the album moves on from there. So I think that was very well done, like getting the band set up, then having Maxwell come on and do his thing. Like, all right, fellas, just like we did it 1,000 times before. Let's go ahead and do this and settle into it. So welcome, I think, sets it up very, very well.
And I always think that's like his "Come Live With Me, Angel" vibe on how Marvin starts. I want you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just the you know, the instrumental. This is it, period. This is his "I Want You." Period. Like this is, and obviously Leon Ware is on Ware. So it makes a lot of sense. You know what I'm saying? So it makes a lot of sense. So you get into that, and like you said, now Maxwell is like, come on, pull up a glass of wine. I got you. Let's do this. You know what I mean? And then he start getting street on him. Let's do a little something. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
So as much as people, and as much as I love the mellow, smooth version from
Yes, God.
As much as I adore it, it still ain't it's still like, I adore that. But just something about the original, it's just it's airy. It's like, it's just free. And that's how it is. You know, you just meeting somebody and you're attracted, and it just feels like you're floating. And that's what that song is. So that's what I attach to it. And so, you know, yes, actually it's on my, you know, GTD mixtape, you know, but
yes.
Like,
ain't it on all of us though? Like, goodness.
It's something about the original that just, I don't know. It's like an airy, bubbly, giggly. It's like a, you know.
Yeah, it gives you that feeling.
And that's what it's supposed to be. After he's, like you said, if this is a concept, he's welcomed you in. He ain't getting right to getting busy. Like, that's what the something mellow joint does. You know what I'm saying? Because when I always think about that, and that being on the Love Jones joint, I always get that is like a mix between like when the cops come knocking and whenever, wherever, whatever. And I think it was just like, all right, we did this. This don't need to go on this album. Like, it just, we got those 2 records already. Like, I mean, it could have been the interlude. I would say it'd be an interlude, but hell no, you don't need it. You know what I'm saying? So I like the something. You know what I'm saying? Especially you got Wawa Watson on it.
Yes.
And this is when I said it confirms that this dude wanted this to be the Marvin type of album, because you got the Marvin players on it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? This dude's played on Let's Get It On. Like, what more do you need? Like, I was like, this something confirmed everything to me. I was like, this is this is his Marvin vibe, like for real. But he's making it current. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and if you're gonna go for the feel, go with the originals. Don't go with anybody that you might think might gonna give you what you want. You go with the ones that's gonna give you what you want. That sound. And what I like about something is, like I said, love live music, me from DC. The fact that, you know, of course, go-go bands and everything, but live music overall between jazz, Bohemian Caverns, you know, 930 Club. I mean, hearing even bands that were dabbled in go-go, like A Touch of Class and Subtle Thoughts, that's the feeling that I got from that when listening to something. Like you getting that opening tune from Subtle Thoughts before Gene comes on and they set up the congos, like you're going to get something when they warming the crowd up. That's what something reminds me of. So just like, okay, this is on some, like, you know, before Gene gets on with Subtle, this is something with Touch of Class. Like this is like that nice cover band lounge suite type of thing, getting the crowd sort of warmed up before you hit them in the mouth later on that night. That's why I love the feel of that. Now the Mellow Smooth joint, obviously, I mean, it's the, when you want to get to some things going, it's on a very, very short list of tunes that will get you there. But this joint serves the purpose what it needs to do at this point in the album. So yeah, that's why it's high on my list. And I agree with you, Elise. I think that this one gives you that feeling, just like that airy, sort of bubbly, sort of like, hey, if you in the audience, yeah. And you done had a drink or so into you, so you really starting to feel it. So,
amen. Yeah. Amen. Yes. Oh yeah. And then I like how you brought that in about the go-go too, because come on, when it comes in, it
yeah,
like it got that it's like, yo, I didn't think about that until you just said it. I was like, yeah, them drums in the beginning, it's like boom, you know what I mean? God, I know y'all was rocking to this joint when it came out, this song in the DC PG area.
Oh, absolutely. What? You know many people, bands like Subtle Thoughts and A Touch of Class and some other ones that I'm thinking about, EU, that actually, like, and Chuck's band who actually covered this. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Wow. Absolutely. Yeah. See, go-go bands will search for things that feeds into that same family of what it is that they do. And they'll take it and they'll make a groove out of it, and they'll take that groove and move it to the next level, what fits go-go. You know, but the grown bands, the ones that cater to that grown and sexy crowd, yeah, they did this joint, and they did it and did justice to it, actually, because the groove's right there. You don't have to change much.
No,
you don't have to change much at all.
No,
it's there already.
Oh God! All right, so Ascension, Don't Ever Wonder will remain my favorite Maxwell song. Period. Look, that song could come on, and I'm talking about the album version, because the video version is cool, but that album version, I need that long 5-minute and 45-second shit. I'm sorry.
But I'm gonna tell you the version. I hate that that version with the SOS band.
No, don't do nothing for you.
I hate it.
I wonder if Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis liked it though.
Oh, sorry, Jimmy, our friend. If you liked it or were involved in
it, but she wasn't messing with it. Not at all. Goodness.
Oh, you're not here for it. Oh, wow. You know what, Alicia? You're right. Because when we tried to, I asked you about it for our radio show, and you was like, absolutely not.
It was the fastest no.
Nah, you was like, absolutely not. You was like, no, we're not going to do this.
Oh,
I don't have a problem with it. I think it's cool, but
it's lazy.
That's what that is. And it was
and it don't match all the way. It's not quite.
It reminds you of your favorite producers, the track masters.
It's like a half a step behind. It's not right. I hate it.
So it reminds you of your favorite production team, then track masters. Then.
Oh man!
Oh my God! Yeah, this was lazy and sloppy.
Oh man!
So you can see them doing that.
Mm-hmm.
She can't stand them. She's giving me nothing.
That's crazy.
She's giving me nothing. But this record, like I said in the beginning of the show, this gives me a lot of my favorites You know what I mean? And that's what really got me onto this. You know what I mean? Definitely giving me the Marvin. And what I'm liking about this is his background vocals, which is all his.
All his, yes.
I know to shut your ass down. All vocals, Maxwell.
Yes. Period.
Like you got to be a bad boy if you're doing all your background vocals. Like we talking about rare territory right there. Somebody that can do all their background vocals. Like, no, I don't need you. Stay home. You as well stay home.
Right.
You as well stay home. I got this.
Singers.
Yeah,
I'm good. No session singers. I got this. And mind you, this is like you said. This dude is 21 making this and already got the mind set for this. Like it's crazy. But
ridiculous, man.
It's the part when he's coming out of the bridge is the favorite for me because it's like how his leads and then his background come in, then the leads come in, and then the hook. And all that, the way it's stacked and all that, I was like, yo, this dude is bananas.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then how it just rides and it's just saying, don't ever wonder. And it just keeps saying that until the end. And I was just like, yo, this dude is nuts.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't give him credit for his singing a lot either, to me. I think, like Elise was saying, I think early, she was just like the package of him. That's what everybody respects.
Yeah.
But when it comes to him as a songwriter, it comes as a producer, nobody really like rocks with him with that. And that's, I don't get it.
Yeah, and another thing I was telling JR like about Maxwell and what he does vocally is that he can sing in so many different styles at a high level. Again. He can sing in so many different styles at a high level.
Yeah.
And he can go in and out of them seamlessly in the same fucking song, in the same verse. He don't give a fuck.
Right.
Like
come on, fangirl. Keep going. Keep going.
He'll give you some good growl singing and then go, just go, you know what I'm saying? And then go back into the verse. And then he's on all the backgrounds. And then you hear him in the background singing another way. And it's acrobatic, but but I think sometimes people with his kind of voices, especially if they do a falsetto thing, they get left out of vocal conversation.
Yeah, I agree.
But that ain't easy because we hear plenty of people doing a falsetto and they sound bad. So it is
really bad.
A hot mess.
It is a very hard skill to tackle and like really pull off in a real way. And to also be able to sing, like it.
And that's why I love the Unplugged. I love his version on Unplugged. The only difference is it's like two background singers. So it's like, but they flowing with him. You know what I'm saying? And he showed his range because he's going up and down, up and down. And I'm like, and if you watch the video, look, I gotta say this. People that was there, y'all whack. Because I'd have been on my feet the whole damn time. Because y'all whack as hell. Because I was just watching it like a couple of weeks ago. And I was just sitting there and I'm watching it. And when he tells he's singing like, y'all can stand up and rock with me, they still sitting. I was like, who are y'all? Like, what the hell? Like, y'all tripping. My ass would have been up rocking with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's displaying his talent like to a T. You know what I mean? And I'm like, y'all not getting it. I don't know what the hell wrong with y'all, but I love when he did this on Unplugged because, of course, this is the album that I had first. So I had already knew the nuances that he would do with this. And then, you kind of nervous when they're going to do it live because you be like, let's see if he can pull this off. And, man, he pulled it off by even doing some extra shit. I was like, this dude is dope. Period.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
I was like, I'm sorry, Eddie. I think he might got falsetto tip. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I always put Eddie like up there, but Maxwell took it.
It's just so, like, it's just so clear and consistent through every time he does it. It never, it's smoother.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's smooth.
Yeah. Yeah, I said on my review, like throughout this album, he put the full repertoire of every register in his arsenal he put to use, and he did it masterfully. all of them. And like we said, some people will try to go up or down and will struggle up and down the scale. It's like, nah, sir, stay right there. Or nah, ma'am, stay right there. No, he mastered it. He mastered it. And we talk about rarefied air, doing the background vocals and then being able to master that many registers, all those keys, like, and to not struggle through it. Because you can tell when somebody's singing and they struggling, like, you know it. And it's like, this dude is not only that, but it's, dare I say, effortless. Like, it's just crazy. You see that on Ascension. I mean, it's just like, it's wow. Then you back that up with that bass line.
Oh my God. Oh my.
I mean, and we can just start there. I mean,
the guitar is the star of this album.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's why you love it, because that's your favorite.
To the slow jazz, the guitar is
the star.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. My goodness. It's it's crazy, man. It's a jam now. Like I said, we at the Kennedy Center, we sang it. It's one that now when I hear it, when I do hear it on the radio on my mixes, I'll let it play through and I don't touch it. I go, nah, this is going at full volume because this is still the jam 26 years later and will continue to be for years to come. I'm going to be grown and my kids are going to be sitting there looking at me and my wife like the way we used to look at my parents back in the day. It's just like, this is that, oh, y'all don't know nothing about this here. That's what Ascension is for us. When we say to the young ones, oh, y'all don't know nothing about this here.
You seen him when he did it at the Soul Train. It was when they honored him. He just put the mic out.
Yeah.
That's all he did. He was like, and you could tell it was like, wow, this is what this song did for people. This is what I was young when I wrote this record. I was young when I did all of this, and people really still rocking to it. And you had young people in the audience singing the words. That's why BET, they was making sure they was trying to put it on some young people. Now, you saw a couple of young people mouthing that they didn't know it.
Yeah.
But, but you still had, the main ones that they put on, like PJ Morton was in there. Even Fat Joe was even singing the words right, which I was very shocked. But I was like, oh, okay, people really buy. And you can tell he felt the love of this record. So this is the record you put on, and it's like everybody gonna sing along to it. This is his record. That's why. Does he end his shows with this? Because I've never been to a Maxwell show.
The shows I have been to, he has closed with this woman's work.
Okay.
Which is interesting to me that's an interesting choice to close it, but I could see why though.
And I've seen him a couple of times. The last time I seen him though, he ended it with Pretty Wings. But he came back out and did something else, and I can't remember what it was. But it was Pretty Wings.
Oh, yeah, that's why I wanted to go there, because ain't that when he came behind you?
Huh?
Wasn't that the one where he came behind you in the video?
No. Oh, no. I met Maxwell I met him earlier that day.
Oh, that's right. You took the picture with him. That's right.
I met him at a food truck.
So real. That's some real.
And Maxwell took my phone out of my hand, and you see that selfie? He took it.
That's real. That's cool, man. That's
you ain't no more girl than that.
I was thinking about mine. I was texting my mom. I was like, I just met Maxwell.
Oh man, that is cool, man.
He was so nice.
Yeah. All right, so then we go to Dance With Me. Let me groove with your mama. Yo.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a question for y'all. So the end of this record, the end. Do y'all think that's because I'm thinking this record, he's saying dance. I'm thinking he mean dance it another way. Could I be wrong? Or are we too there? Like, You know what I mean? As far as dancing I feel like dancing in the bed. That's what I feel like he's talking about.
The next song is Till the Cops Come Down.
Okay, yeah. I wanted to make sure. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. The next, I mean,
I just wanted to make sure. Look.
Listen.
Dancing literary is always like a metaphor for
always.
that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, then he's moaning and giving you the eye and all that in the record, but the way he flipping it like that. But I mean, I grew with it, but I was just like, does he mean in the bed?
I mean both. In the beginning, he literally dancing.
There you go.
Remember, this is a story.
Yeah. So and that's my answer. That's my answer.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm, you know.
Yeah.
Cool. I love that. Consent. Always consent. If it's cool.
Right.
A little something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because technically ain't a lot of words. It's not. It's just straight beat. And that's it. And then that's why I said at the end, you hearing
essentially it's him really kicking game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's you know, it's mildly kind of, you know, holla, you know.
Yeah.
Almost on some fuckboy saying like, you the highest of the high.
Highest of the high.
No, then I'll tell you.
You.
Whatever wonder that he's laying down game.
Yeah.
He's saying lines. That whole song, it's lines.
Right.
Lines like dude tell you at the bar.
Right.
You're the queen. You're the beautiful queen. You just light up the room. You're the prettiest woman. So don't you ever wonder. Don't you ever doubt that.
Yeah.
Okay.
He laid his game down quite flat.
Right. And then so we there with Dance With Me then.
Yeah.
Dance.
Yeah, they went to go dance on the floor, and then afterwards he's like, let's go back to my place and dance some more. You know,
right.
That's
right.
I mean, we're talking about a movie, right? These are the things that happens in the movies. Y'all hit it off. Y'all hey, you want to get out of here? Let's go. You know, they probably got out of there, probably stopped at, you know, a place on 115th and got a piece of, you know, got a little something to eat before they took back to the crib, you know. Hey man, it got that feeling to it. It got that feeling to it. Yeah.
Well, enough said, because then the next one is Till the Cops Come Knocking. I have something to say.
You don't like it?
I might get killed for it.
Oh no.
I am not the biggest fan of this record. I get it, but I'm not.
Log off. Me and B.
Log off.
It's cool. You were here for the first part. They saw your face.
Oh man, she told the man to log off. I'm surprised, man. Really?
You know why?
Why?
You know why? For me, I'm like, maybe because I'm biased because the next song is my favorite too. But Till the Cops Come Knocking, I get it. It makes sense. But it's one of the songs that I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? And then I can skip and go to the next one. It's not like it don't need to be there. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, just like how we said in Confessions, how I said, I don't like Burn. But I get why it's needed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So with this, I'm not the big fan of it. I don't hate it. It's not a bad song. You know what I'm saying? Because you giving me so much funk in the way your face looks, Elise. And
she about to, she telling you to click the leave
right
button in the bottom right-hand corner right now.
Out of this. I'm trying to explain myself.
I'm sorry. I'm being a stan, and I usually don't, but this is one of my exceptions.
Yes.
She's like, nope, you're not getting off it today.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, nah.
I get what I talk about Maxwell.
Yes. That's why I was kind of nervous. That's why I was like, oh no, we're gonna have to talk about this record. I was nervous. But I'm like, look, but I get why it's there. I get all of that. The video too, it's like everything is right for it, but it's one of them joints where I'm just like, all right, you know what I mean? But I get it though. I get it.
Yeah.
Unified. He does some amazing things in this song. Like
you right with that one though. He get a lot of them Prince and Marvin licks. that he was doing in this.
Like last minute and a half, 2 minutes of that song, he's showing off.
But you know what I'm so mad about though? Because again, I had to unplug. It wasn't on the unplugged CD, but it was on the DVD. And the DVD, and I saw it, and I was like, "Yo, he killed it! Why didn't they put this on the joint?" But they took this off, and I like it live, maybe, or maybe I just need to put it on the GTD playlist, and that's the problem. I haven't. It ain't make my list, and maybe if I put it on there, I'll be like, "Oh, okay, I like it."
I'm gonna give you a pass because it's 2 other songs that go on there, so you got enough Maxwell for that purpose. So.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Even though you gave me a little
I give you permission not to love it.
No, you already kicked me off my own damn show. Like, what more?
She told you to log off.
Yeah, I was like, well, let me explain. Like, see, you give me log off. No, I get my records on there. I like it.
Yeah,
I can rock with it.
Yeah.
Don't let me bully you, JR.
You do it all the time, so it's all good. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this, so I get it.
I'm bullying him about me bullying him.
Oh, you see what I'm saying? I can't win.
I
can't win.
Oh, man.
I can't win. But again, like the live version is dope though. Like, so if y'all check out the live version of Still the Cops Come Knocking on Unplugged, and he bodies it, yo. Because he's sitting on the chair, making it so damn easy. Like he's sitting like backwards and just singing. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Who do this? Like,
it's like, all right, man, you showing off now, bro. Stop it.
Laying on the couch singing.
Yeah. That's why this album ain't number Marvin, for real.
Yeah, man.
For real.
But they're probably supposed to agree to work with him because they gave them that feeling.
Yeah, he did. So
they saw it in a younger version.
They saw something in the young boy.
Because old players like that, man, that do music, they ain't gonna work with the new generation until they see something, unless they see something. You know, unless they see the gift, and it's like, okay, you know what, I want to work with you, you know, because a lot of the new artists, I mean, they probably wouldn't be keen to work with them if they don't see that gift.
But you know, gamer times game, so they was like, oh, you looking real familiar, Maxwell.
This song is sort of the epitome of what the album cover is. I mean, Till the Cops Come Knocking. I mean, the heels right there on the floor.
The hotel.
Inside of the hotel room, the apartment, the flat, whatever, you know.
House carpet.
That's
that thick
hotel
carpet. Yeah.
Great stuff.
Yeah. But that's the epitome to me. That song epitomizes what you see on the album cover. I mean, it's just like the energy of that song is just something that's just like, I have to agree with you as well. At first, I didn't really like this song, really wasn't my favorite either. But then the older I got, I was just like, man, this joint, you know what? One, it's ridiculous how the feeling of this song is just like, and then the groove with the guitar, and then you have the siren in the background, just gives you that entire feel of what you feel like, okay, they done left the club, they done left the lounge, they done went back to the place, you know, they done had another drink for the night. Now they in the room getting it on. And it's the late night somewhere in New York City, probably somewhere in Manhattan. Who knows what in the hell's going on outside of this place, but it's a part of the soundtrack of this interaction that's going on. So when you talk about,
give me video treatment,
come on, man. It's like you talk about like the whole theatrics of the album. It's like this is just a part of the background of what this interaction is like, and that just sort of, I think, just sets it up even perfectly to where the album goes right after that. You know, once this is done and the cops have knocked on the door to say, ma'am and sir, please keep it down. The other guests in the hotel are complaining, you know, it sets it up perfectly to where the album goes later than that. And that's a recurring theme, man. The songs and how it's sequenced is just ridiculous.
And an interesting thing, so if you look at the lyric, he's like just making her feel comfortable about what went down because it starts off, then you dig the way I rubbed your back, girl. Wasn't it cool when I first kissed your lips? Or were you embarrassed about the way you freak?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to hold you. I want to know you, baby, if it's all right. He's saying, yeah, we was nasty, but I still want to know you. Like, I fucked with you. I like you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, don't feel ashamed. We did what was natural and it was okay.
Right. And for a song to be sexual like that, right? But not be vulgar, you know?
Yeah.
Like you talk about how different Maxwell was than many of his contemporaries. The fact that this album overall, in many ways, is sexual, very sexual, but not vulgar or obscene, like many of the singers of those days when it was in style to be sort of obscene, like on sort of the edge of what's acceptable and what's not acceptable as far as the censors are concerned. But it's almost like it happened, but we don't have to go into everything that we just did because what we just did. But it's cool. Let's sit back and relax. I'd like to continue our conversation.
Right. Yeah. Okay, now that y'all break it down, I like the song now.
It's so easy. It's okay to call because towards the end of the song, he's like, the last lover came and went and didn't even hug and caress you. So he's trying to say, I'm not those dudes.
Still putting the Mac down,
putting the game down. Still
done.
Like, yeah. He is
like them other dudes, y'all. Like,
yeah.
That's a slight hateration. Like, I ain't like them other dudes. Last dude ain't when he hug your kitchen. Oh yeah.
Right. Just a little bit, just tiny bit. A
little salt in the game.
Just a little bit.
Oh man! All right. So, whenever, wherever, whatever. This is my second favorite song on the album. You did say that's your favorite joint. You did. Wow. Why though?
Which is weird because usually I want a thick song. Usually I don't like the slow. Usually a favorite is not the slow song. This is a bear song and it's slow, but it's because this song, the rest of the album is about everybody, the band, everybody. This song is Maxwell vocally just doing it. It's
I agree.
Down bear track and he is just singing.
I agree.
Yeah.
And it's singing well.
It gets the heart, gets the emotion of the record to me. And I like emotion, at least. That's one thing I am here for. I hate you bad. But I love, so that heart just gets to your spirit, man, and it just touches you somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, out of all of these, it don't have that thickness like every other song does, but it still fits. You know what I'm saying? It still fits. And it's like the heart just like, sometimes I'll be like, yo, why am I emotional? This ain't even like a sad record like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not even that. And it just shows you what the instrument can do. You know what I mean? And that heart just kind of did it for me. And me loving emotional records, I didn't know in the beginning he was saying, baby. I'm throwing, he's saying, bye, baby. I'm terrible, y'all. I'm terrible with lyrics. I'm terrible with names. I'm terrible. I'm just horrible. So I had to think, and I was like, wait a minute. That wouldn't even make sense, him saying, bye, baby. I'm like, no. This was one time, at least you didn't have to correct me on this one. I got this one on my own at 14.
Yeah, but because of the way the harp is going and tempo, it sounds haunting. It sounds like it should be a sad song, but it's not. It's just yeah. I think musically it kind of tricks you a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she helped me out on this one. Okay, we good.
Yeah, the feel of the song gives it to you. I mean, because harps just do something. They do.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
They do something. Whenever you hear a harp, it does elicit certain type of emotion out of people. It does. Mm-hmm. But the lyrics, even in this, honestly, and there's nothing sad about it. I mean, what he's singing about here, this is just, it's very, you know, I'm here if you need me, whenever, wherever, whatever it is. I'm here for whatever it is, the thing that you need. And if there's a thing that you need, I mean, it's just like, for the fact that it's so stripped down, but in its simplicity though.
Yes.
And its simplicity, you get probably some of the best singing on here, and you probably get more emotion out of this song than you do out of any of the others, actually. And it's weird that happens, because you don't have the full band behind you and everything else, but in its simplicity, it gives you everything that you need. And the
unplugged performance, this is the best. Because I just posted that joint. Because I was just vibing to it last night, and I was just like, he's somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's like it takes him in a trance, and he's just somewhere else with it. And it's like, damn, like you don't want the joint to end. And it's the shortest record on the album.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And another thing is, it's a song where he's being completely vulnerable. So that's not an easy thing to do. So maybe they did want to evoke kind of this I'm bearing my soul. This is scary, but this is what I feel. So I'm going to say it, but this is a scary notion. He told old girl, I give you the breath I breathe.
Yeah.
Out loud.
That's some deep stuff right there.
Deep.
Somebody you just met.
Deep. That's deep. That's deep.
Yeah.
That's some deep.
That's some deep stuff. Somebody you just met, like
you know what I'm saying? Mind you, y'all just finished getting busy and going like till the cops came knocking, and now you tell her this.
Yeah, it's a big jump.
That's why the women flock to this damn album, because he like you said, this was a time where that wasn't happening in albums. It was like we fuck goodbye.
He's like. So it need to be a raw, bare song for bearing these raw feelings.
Yeah.
Oh, Maxwell was putting his Mac down on all y'all chicks, yo. And y'all fell for the bait, yo. Y'all fell for the bait, yo.
So
yeah. Maxwell's the guy that tells you, oh, baby, don't worry about him, but really you need to be worrying about him.
Word. You really need to worry about him. Oh, snap. Oh,
mess around, she fall in love within a night.
Yo, this dude, and he crying to the girl like Maxwell did the damn thing. Okay. Crazy. Lonely's the only company. Now, I know, B, you got to like this joint because horns, and you played this in high school. So,
man, listen.
And I'm going to say it before you, I love horns.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah. I mean, I love it. I mean, one of the things that made Voodoo and Mama's Gun two of my favorite albums that came out was the horn work that they did with that. I mean, needless to say, the late great Ward Hargrove on both of those albums, my goodness, like what is this? Like, so it's the same thing that you hear on this, but it's that horn work, but then it's like a continuation of the last track we heard. You want to talk about vulnerability? Now he's talking about him being lonely ever since she left. I mean, it's just like like this to me actually is my sleeper track on the album that I think that if you talk to probably 100 Maxwell fans, they'll listen to this song and they may skip right over it.
I said the same thing.
I mean, it's when you talk about they've done this thing. He done told her he'll give her his breath that he breathes and whatever you need, wherever you need it, whatever you need, all that. And then now he's like, ever since you've left, I can look into all these other faces with no trust.
No trust.
Lonely is the only one, and lonely is the only love. And I'm only lonely because you left me lonely. I mean, come on, man. Like, we talk about like Kings of Comedy. Steve Harvey talks about some, men don't talk about your woman and tell your woman how you feel about her. And he talks about that during when they're playing Lenny, during that one part that everybody knows with Lenny Williams. And I mean, shoot, this is right up that same alley. I mean, we talk about the horns, the music, the background, everything is great. But then the star of this song is those lyrics.
That man said, look into all of the faces with no trust. Who writing like this? Now. Damn it, yo.
Yeah.
And you know what? Y'all know what this song too? I wasn't a big, like, Elise knows this. And then I realized I was a fan of Sade. Again, my family wasn't big Sade fans, right? So I remember telling Elise one day, and she was like, well, tell me the songs that you like. And then I told you a couple, and then Elise started naming these other songs, and I was like, oh yeah, I like that. She was like, nigga, you a fan. But like, you a fan. But my mom wasn't. This song reminds me of Jezebel. Especially not words, musically. Especially with that horn wailing the way it is on this. Wow. And obviously Stewart is part of Sade.
Exactly.
So it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. It all comes together.
Like
it all comes together. I mean, like,
just like, oh my God. That's why I think that, like you said, B, this is a sleeper because nobody talks about this record. I don't see anybody but Elise. But I don't see nobody else like on my timeline or nothing. When you're talking about Maxwell, I'm saying this album here, nobody talks about this record. I really think this is the sleeper.
Yeah, it is to me. Just like everything. Yeah.
On at the end. Like, you don't expect that when you first hear the song, and then it just goes into a whole other thing. Which is a very Sade thing to do.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. 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 It's it is an incredible track that I think a lot of people will sort of gloss right over, which I think is a mistake. I think it's a big, big mistake. And I mean, Stewart's fingerprints were all over this. You can tell. Just based off of the influence what you both just mentioned. Man, it's just like you talk about the influence with Curtis Mayfield, with Marvin, and now you bring in Sade into the mix, and it's just like, well, damn, what else do y'all have up your sleeve?
Right. Like shit. Like you don't got all the elements in this. Like, where else you gonna go with this? Like, and he's working it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, maybe because I think like the emotion of whenever, wherever, whatever. Maybe they like, look, I need a break for a second. But I'm like, well, how the hell you gonna skip that and go to Reunion?
Yeah. No.
Like like y'all said, it's a movie. Yeah. It got to make sense.
Yeah, it's got to be separation in order for there to be some sort of happy reunion to happen of some sorts. Like the payoff doesn't happen without there being some sort of separation. And that's in concept wise, this is why that works. Because it's not just like it's all happy and fun and games. Like, no, you got to make this man suffer a little bit for it. Just a little bit. Nigga got to suffer a little bit for it. You know what I'm saying?
He was suffering like what? Like, yo, lonely, yo. Like,
going through it bad, too. My goodness. You got to make him suffer from it.
a part 1 and 2.
And 2.
And he put the joint both. So you know this is a long suffering for him.
Yes.
So that reunion, baby, it's time. You hear?
Yeah.
This is the record when I said, even though, you know, shoot, I just lost my train of thought. But no, okay, back. Okay, when Don't Ever Wonder, right? When I said then, I was like, yo, I think, you know, Maxwell might be, you know, up there with Eddie. Man, when Reunion came, I said, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
Nope. I was like, it's done. I was like, I'm sorry, Eddie. He has taken over. You are up in heaven. You good to go. But Maxwell got it from here. Like, it's yo, this whole joint, he's using that falsetto this whole record. Ain't nobody messing with Maxwell's falsetto. I don't care what you say. Because this record here kills it. And I mean, he had to do that because he's happy. He's happy that there's a reunion.
Yeah. It ties it all back together.
Yes.
The use of the falsetto, I think, as an expression of joy is I don't know, what's the word? Poetic, I guess you would have to say.
Oh yeah, he's been poetic this whole damn album. So
I mean, he's been poetic this whole album, but specifically the use of the falsetto on this record as his expression of joy that they've reunited is poetic. Because I mean, my goodness, my man killed it. You're right. It's just like now the thinking back and listening to it, I'm just like, man, this dude. And I think the first time around when I listened to Reunion years and years ago, I didn't have any respect for men who sang in falsetto because I didn't know music. But now that I do, it's just like, okay, my dude, like you said, all the tools are out of the bag, and the bag was full. But all the tools are now coming out of the bag, and to be able to tie that together now to this reunion, man, like goodness, it's like I almost like want to say, like, you know, when they were putting this storyboard together for this album, I would love to have been in the room to conceptually see how they're like, you know, to be like, you know, here you got all these industry veterans, and then you have this 21 and 22-year-old dude who's just like, you know, all right, cool, I'm fully in the mix. How about we do this, right? Can y'all make this work?
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely we can. You know? I mean, I would just love to have been a fly on the wall in that room, man.
You right, yo. I'd have loved to be in that room for the track listing of this and how they put all this together, yo, and how it worked. Oh man.
Yeah, that's just incredible. This is things just start to continue on. Like I said, sets up whatever it comes next perfectly. You know, it does. And yeah, A1.
Yes.
The smell of sheep just drives me crazy. Imagine what the side effect can do. That's my shit.
I knew I was gonna get it. I was waiting. You waited a little too long. I thought you might have gave it to me in like track number 3, but you waited all the way to damn near the end. I am so proud of you. All right, so then we got Sweet Lady. This, I mean, at least we're talking about this. When I hear this, I hear Aaron Hall influence all over this. To me, I for real, like I feel that. But what did you say, Elise, when it came to Aaron in this record?
Oh, if you took all the instruments out except for like a bass and put some sense on it, that's how he would sing that song.
Because
like
Aaron,
like the content of it and tempo.
Because Aaron is very one-dimensional. So you're gonna get Aaron, the same Aaron on every record. You're gonna get him the same as you get on Groove Me. You're gonna get on Goodbye Love. That's just what it is. There's no in between. There's no nothing.
Let's chill and I miss you.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what you get. You get no more from that.
Yes,
you know
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. So when it got to this, I was like, I hear it, but I said, this is a joint where finally I'll get to groove again.
Mm-hmm.
I said, this is where I'm grooving to go get me another drink for real.
Yes.
This is a two-step joint because he done took you through all the slow joints.
Mm-hmm.
It's about damn time. Can we get up and groove again? Like,
yeah.
No man can tear asunder.
Yeah. Yes. And those lyrics, because it's called Proposal Jam. And you're talking about words that you're using that people use when they're reciting vows, when they're getting married. And it's like the happy ending. This song is like the feeling of it and everything. It gives you that groove. Is sort of like, this is like the happy ending. This is sort of like we're at the movie. This is the scene before the last scene of the movie. Where everything's sort of tied back together. We've had this thing happen. We've had the separation and despair. We've had this reunion. And then this commitment comes in. I talked about the whole storyboard of this being the commitment. This puts a bow right back onto it. It's like, man, masterfully done. And it's something like you said, the end of the night when the band's getting ready to close out and last call, y'all. Yeah. Last call, y'all. Mm-hmm. Make sure y'all get that in. Tip my bartenders well. we gonna make sure we party with y'all one last time before we let y'all go.
Oh, I know that very well. It's like it's about time.
And then after this dramatic ass album, he gonna say at the end, I don't mean to be dramatic, baby.
This guy.
Say that out loud.
Right.
Out his mouth.
Like, what are you talking about? You don't mean to be dramatic.
Right. We done been on.
Where was that 3 songs ago?
You know what I'm saying? Like, where the hell was we at? Like, what the hell?
Oh my gosh.
And then I like y'all said, it's a movie. You know what I mean? So then you got the sweet theme. We're closing it again. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's like the proposal, everybody's together, they're together, and it comes to a close.
Mm-hmm.
And just the way the sequencing of this album could not be better. And like y'all said, it's a concept album and it's a movie. Yeah. And before, when we did a concept episode, at least when we was on IG, and I think me and you was going back and forth about, because when I think of a concept, I'm not thinking about how we just broke this down. Y'all know when they think about a concept, I'm thinking about like what's going on type of concept. That's what I'm thinking. And you was like, no, baby, this is, you was like, this is a concept album. And then you started, and then I had to sit and think like, yo, like you said, B, this is a movie. It's like a play that you're seeing from beginning to end. The curtain opens, now the curtain closes.
Yeah.
And everybody's happy. This is a proposal jam. He proposed to her. Yeah. Like, now it's time for a commitment. Yes. We are together now. After our one night stand, we met in the club. We did what we did. You left me. You know what I mean? Then we had a reunion. Now I'm ready to get in this committed relationship, and we end off happy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's you talk about like the fact that people won't think of this as a concept album. And then when you break it down, it's the exact definition of it. He even said, and when he talked to Apple Music a few years ago, he said that, it's like automatic writing thing in my mind, but I do keep journals. I do write to like long, lengthy conceptual things. Movies play a major role, and also the music of our ancestors, people like Marvin Gaye, of course, who was the theme album king, Al Green, theme album king, Curtis Mayfield. Maxwell says, I just want to make a record that had a sense of put it on, leave it, and you good. I mean, this was his intent from the very beginning, to give us something in the spirit of Marvin and Al Green and Curtis Mayfield by the people who worked right alongside with them.
Right.
And I wrote something down when I was talking about this. I made a few things that I wanted to mention. And I said that this was an album, Urban Hang Suite was an album that was made with the spirit of his ancestors in mind, both familial and also musically. Familial being as though the fact that he said many of the romantic themes he used, he drew off of experiences being with the Caribbean women in his household, being half Haitian and half Puerto Rican, and dealing with those women in his household and what they taught him about romance. And then we talk about the drawing back to the themes of Al Green, of Marvin, of Curtis Mayfield, and to see that how this young man can sit there and reach back basically into the ancestors and say, okay, y'all, guide me on this mission, to reach back to women like his grandmother, who he talked about a lot, and his aunties and his older cousins and sisters. Like, knowing and growing up in a household like that, I can understand where he got the inspiration like that from, dealing with those type of women and listening to those records and hearing this record. It's just like, man, I know you said you don't like the word neo soul, JR, but
God, but I get it though.
I get it. Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah. It's, man, like, even just sitting to it now, just talking with y'all, I'm getting a whole new appreciation for the album that I didn't have before, and that's saying something.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I am too. I mean, hell, y'all got me like until the cops come knocking now, just explaining the shit to me. You know what I mean? Like I said, normally me and Elise kind of like, we back and forth, and she'll be like, well, what's your favorite song and what's mine and what's not and all this. She never asked me on this one, what song you did like? And I said, I can wait for the show.
Because I couldn't even conceptualize the idea that there was a song on this gem and jewel of an album that
you making it extra, but it's cute. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, how many times today did I say this is a perfect album?
You did.
So in my mind,
because we always ask each other that, and we be like, this song. She never asked, so I was like, ooh. I'm gonna wait to the show, and hopefully it don't get too crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, good. Because good. Because this album is worthy of all the praise that it's gotten, and since it came out, and now we're looking back at it. It's the older that I get, the more I look at this and be like, this is masterful. And to think that this was made at a time when this wasn't a popular thing to do. If you were doing R&B music, it wasn't. The label itself didn't think the album would be viable because they didn't think commercially it would do well. Nope. But they trusted him to make his own album, which said a lot, because it means they believed in something.
You see, and thinking about all three of the albums, that it's kind of like the neo soul. You know what I'm saying? Those three,
the Holy Trinity.
They let them do what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
They gave D'Angelo his own. They said, hey, do what you do. Fine. Maxwell, do what you do. Cool. Erica, go with whoever you want to go to. We just going to let y'all be free. And we got these.
Yeah. And I think this being recorded largely at Electric Lady Studios just shows again the magic that has been made in that temple, of a studio. And even looking at that, I look at this album and we see that, we talk about the Holy Trinity of neo soul with Brown Sugar and with Baduism. Not even 3 to 4 years after this, Erica and D'Angelo are in Electric Lady with Questlove and Dilla and Common, and they're recording Voodoo and Mama's Gun at the same exact time. And I can't help to think that everyone who was in that studio had to be influenced by this just a little bit, and look at the musicians that they had to play on those albums. So it's like, well, if Maxwell had Stewart and Wawa and, he had these great, and Beverly Hills Section, all these folks coming here to play, then we got to, hey, look, next album, we got to step the game up.
Yeah, true shit.
We have to step the game up. So I can't help to think that those two masterpieces were influenced just a little bit by this, which was recorded in the same studio where they were recording theirs.
That's real. That's wow. That's some true shit. I never think about it like that though. Never. But they had to be a little bit.
Just a little bit. Because if you Baduism and Brown Sugar are amazing albums, and but when you have them going and stepping into that same studio and being like, all right, y'all, we need the big guns for this one. I need Pino, I need Charlie Hunter, I need Roy Ayers, I need Roy Hargrove. All these people. I need Quest. I need you to Samir. I need you to sit down at these drums and do something with me. Dilla, can you sit down and do something with me? Like, we need to come with the big guns, because if this kid came in here and did an album like this with the people that he had, we got to step the game up. Because if not, then we out the game. That's real. Quick, early, and fast, and in a hurry. That's so
if you so ending everything, where would we all feel like this is certified classic for sure? Where would you put this in Maxwell's catalog? Starting with you, B.
Oh, this is one. For me personally, this will always be one for me. And I love Embrya now. Embrya in particular, I have a bit of a special relationship with that album as well, because of the time of when it came out and musically where I was, because I was starting to explore myself producing wise. So like, there are some things that Maxwell did in Embrya. I felt like he was maybe trying to experiment a little bit more outside of what he did here. It's like, I got the formula here. Now, what can I take from this recipe and see if I can make a whole nother dish that tastes just as good, but maybe adding a couple of other elements here to see if I can, and how big will the difference be? Will they eat it up just as well, much as they did with this? So I love Embrya, and then I even love Now. I mean, the writing wise, I think this is probably some of his best writing out of those three albums. The fact that this is a concept album and it was so brilliantly done makes this number one to me. If I had to probably rank it, I would have to say probably in the order that it came out: this, Embrya, and then Now.
Elise?
Like, Embrya's one for me. Urban Hang Suite, I mean, that was my gateway drug to that greatness. And because of that, I was able to get Embrya. I just think Embrya is a little more complex. It's, like he said, it's more experimenting. It's trying some different things. But it's still Maxwell all the way. Like, it's hearing and be like, Urban Hang, who? No, it's
right.
He's very Maxwell, and he gives you songs on here that sound like they could be
absolutely.
That's why you have Matrimony.
That part, maybe you. Yes.
That's why you have So Pure. That's why you have those songs.
That's right.
That wasn't by accident, and but we want that. You gotta have something on the album. It doesn't have to be a carbon copy, but that gives you the feel of art. Even if you go in a completely left direction, you gotta leave some breadcrumbs too.
That's right.
So, and I just think artistically, like, Urban Hang Suite is, I'm hungry, I'm showing you everything I can do. Embrya is like, I'm digging deeper.
Yeah.
And so that's but I don't like one more than the other. But I just think it's more mature and introspective.
Gotcha.
But I like them just the same. I play them just as much.
You do.
I play just this straight through this because it's seamless. It makes sense, so. Yeah.
Well, mine, I ain't gonna say a lot because you killed that shit and I ain't fucking up the moment. So I'm just gonna say mine is just Urban Hang Suite, number one. That's it. Like, that's number one for me because Embrya is like right there for me. But Urban Hang Suite, it just, that's it. That was my introduction. And
this is a movie and this is an art museum. Like, it's
there you go.
Yeah, this is a gallery showing.
You win for the night. You win for the